Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video. My name is Asha. I am so thrilled to bring this video forward to you. This is my channel, Magnetic Frequency. You might be catching this on Facebook as well. If so, please go ahead and leave me a comment below, just telling me how the video lands for you. I am honored to bring forward these videos. If you do not know who I am, my name is Asha. I am an emotional and energetic intelligence expert, and I am dedicated to your highest when it comes to your love and your purpose and your beauty and your health. And it's the best job ever. I'm a walking embodiment of my work. I have personally lost about 42 pounds on this journey and counting. I'm down to about 130 pounds. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm entering a bikini contest. I'm living on the beaches of Malibu. And it is all thanks to alignment work and the work that I do. It is truly that powerful. It is all about being magnetic and getting yourself aligned to what it is that you like to do so that you can attract the right people into your life and have literally the best life ever. And then from there, I can teach you how to do amazing things like create courses and automate businesses and things like that, because I'm also a consultant and a CEO. And I love this mission more than anything else. So in this video, I want to talk to you about something that is so near and dear to my heart, which is anxiety and how to stay calm in hot situations and how to manage ourselves if you're snapping at your children, if you're snapping at your partner, if you're finding them like just hard to be around, and what you can actually do so that you're not in that place. Because one of the worst things that we can do in that place is shut down and become avoidant. We end up releasing amazing relationships or potential for really good relationships prematurely without these skills. Or furthermore, it just creates disconnect. And disconnect is like literally one of the hardest things to move through if you want love. If you want love and you can't figure it out, you want to listen to this video. So I personally had a really strong trigger response. So I would get like agitated or annoyed and frustrated, and I would sometimes internalize it, like keep it all to myself and like do the angry dishes, I call them. Or there were other circumstances where I'd like snap or like get really frustrated, right? And like it wasn't the person that I wanted to be, and it wasn't the way that I wanted to communicate. And now that I've made these major changes, I don't communicate like that at all. And if someone feels as if that's the best form of communication that they can give me in the moment, they typically have to go away because they can't be around my emotional regulation and stability. Now, I want to let you know, I was not always like this. I think that's really important for you to understand. The reason this is important for you to understand is because you can change. Okay. If you have a snapping trigger response, you can change that into a healthy relationship with your emotions. And I want to give you a couple of reasons how. It's a couple of ways how. So, number one, you want to address your behavioral self control. Now, the word triggers is like super triggering because everybody just throws it around willy nilly when they don't actually really know what it means to do what we call trigger alchemy. This is when we get to the root of the problem. So, a good example is like 5 women will be like, oh, he triggers me. He triggers me. And then they like blame it on him instead of figuring out what it is inside them that's emanating an emotion. So if somebody does something and it causes the emotion of anger, you don't look at the person like they're the problem. You look at the reason. Why are you acting? Why are you getting angry in response to that person? Oh, because he was an asshole. Well, sure, that's going to happen, but you need to look at the way you respond. So I have a character in my life. He's constantly berating me. Like it's like anytime he doesn't have access to my energy, but he's part of my family. And he's every time he has a chance to, he puts me down. So I used to get triggered by that. And I'd be like, oh my God, what's wrong with him? And now I take full responsibility and I just don't react. The second you stop reacting, you have the power. Now, it's almost impossible for people to do this because of trauma. So when we have trauma and someone's yelling at us, We are going to fight, flight, or freeze. So if you're a woman and you have a husband and he speaks with a sharp truth and a sharp tongue, you're going to potentially get hurt by his language. When you get hurt by his language, and I'm not saying excusing any bad behavior, but there is a level of emotional mastery where you don't care because you can hear in that person's voice that it's their inner child. You can hear it, you can feel it, because people don't talk like that unless they have something going on inside of themselves. So you want to be the one that's in control. You want to be the one that's in control of your emotions. There only needs to be one emotionally intelligent person in any conversation. If the other person's not at that level of emotional intelligence and emotional capacity, they have to leave the dynamic. All right. That's really, really important for you to understand. They can't be around it or they'll end up breaking down. So perhaps you've ever had a boss, if you're a woman and you're getting nervous because it's time to get reviewed and the man is really stable, a woman can actually read that as him being heartless, even though all he is emotionally stable. So when it comes to your triggers, you need to understand that your trigger is always a fight, flight, or freeze response because the person's setting something off inside of you that you need to look at. It's not because the person's a bad person. If that person had no power over you in any way, shape, or form, you would have no reaction. It's like if a tiny little person was yelling at you from across a mountain, you're not going to have a reaction because you're very safe in that place. It's when you feel as if you're in danger. So you need to remind your brain that a car crash traffic isn't a life or death situation. It feels like it. Or you and your spouse having a fight isn't a life or death situation. It may feel like that, but there's no reason to have a reaction. The other side of that is sometimes what we do is we're like, oh, well, I'm not reacting, but you've shut your heart down. You're not even listening. You're in a place of apathy. And that means that your heart has stopped expressing or allowing the expression to come through your heart space in that place. And that's another way that we end up becoming anxious, and we have lost our calm in that place because we're disassociated so deeply from the way that we're feeling. You're disassociating, you're completely shutting down. Both of those affect our head talk. Both of those affect our ability to connect with the person on the other end. And when there's anxiety and when there is this overwhelm in the triggers here in the behavioral self-control, the way that we control ourself and the way that we feel when we have conflict, it affects the level at which we're able to communicate with people. Okay. And you're always going to be met at the depth that you can meet another person by the depth that you can meet yourself. Okay. So you can only meet other people at the depth that you've met yourself. So a good example is I can oftentimes, I'll say, why didn't you get that done to a team member? And I'm so stable. I can feel them shaking or getting ready to get defensive, even though I'm not going to snap. I can feel like I'm going to snap because I'm quite powerful, but I don't. I am very, very stabilized. And so in order for that to come across a little softer, I have to use a lot of empathy in my communication so that they know that they're safe. Sometimes I even have to remind my team, you're safe. Everything's going to be okay. You're safe here. Just know that you're going to be safe. Right. And so even though we're doing feedback right now, I want you to know that you're safe because I'm aware that a lot of people don't have that level of emotional intelligence that I do. And this is a big problem in corporate because what we're seeing is a lot of women, they can't handle the masculine's truth. And so then they end up shutting down or they end up getting defensive. And then we bring in these feminism things and it's actually really hurting masculinity in the workforce. And they can't even speak up or they look like it's too hurtful. So it's about actually being able to commit to the level of truth that you can handle. Okay. So I think that there's some beauty in that. And I hope that that landed well for you. So before I started doing this deeper work, I was getting to the root of my mother's triggers, my father's triggers, all of these things that used to really set me off. And once I changed them, everyone around me changed or moved away. They backed off me completely. And so it was like, it's like I either gained more, like some people aren't available for these deep conversations. And you just kind of have to know that like some people can't even go to that place. And so they end up going away if you try to bring it into their life or like have them look at it. Or it's another thing I've learned with clients. Like there's certain types of women and men that want the help, and then they get really, really close and they can't quite get there. And their anxiousness or their own fears get in the way of them taking the next step. And so it's like you kind of like need to be like a gentle invite for them. And that's like the empathy if you have the emotional mastery. Yeah, it's emotional mastery in that place. And it's so powerful. This is like true emotional intelligence. It's so much deeper than just self awareness. Trust me, most people are not that aware because it's very, very deep. And you can only go as deep as you're willing to go into your own pain. And that's where it's at because everything else is surface level. So if you want these deeper relationships and these deeper loves and these deeper callings being answered, then you take the journey within. All right. So hopefully that landed for you. If you are ready to get started on deepening yourself and deepening your relationships, I would love to support you in Self Worth Warriors. Go ahead and send some information forward. The link is just below, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye.